Hi everyone, and welcome back to Crimson Rift Africa, the channel where we dive into the most disturbing, often overlooked stories from across the continent. If you are new here, this is the place where history, horror, and humanity collide, raw, unfiltered, and deeply African. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This video discusses real-life crimes and includes descriptions of violence and murder. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This content is created for educational and informational purposes only, to examine historical events and criminal cases. We do not condone or glorify the actions of the individuals discussed.
What is it that motivated this young man to do what he did? And what he told us was that he was married to his first wife in 2022. He started for a business. She squandered the business. Started for her another business. She squandered the business. And out of bitterness, he chopped her into pieces and dumped her at the quarry.
In the heart of Nairobi, Kenya, just beyond the crowded streets of Mukuru kwa Njenga, lies an abandoned quarry. For years, it was nothing more than a dumping ground for trash. But beneath the floating waste, hidden in the dark water, was something far more sinister. What began as a search for one missing woman uncovered a mass grave. Dismembered bodies, wrapped in sacks, pulled one by one from the depths. And at the center of it all, a man who confessed to killing 42 women. But is he a monster? Or just a scapegoat in a system shrouded in corruption and fear? Kenya, a country known for its stunning wildlife, breathtaking landscapes, and vibrant culture. But beneath the beauty lies a darker reality. In the capital city, Nairobi, a place of opportunity and struggle, millions live side by side, from towering skyscrapers to sprawling informal settlements. It's here, in the shadows of this bustling city, that one of the most chilling crime stories in East Africa began. On a quiet morning in June 2024, in the bustling slums of Mukuru, Nairobi, a young woman named Josephine Owino vanished without a trace. She had received a mysterious phone call that morning, prompting her to leave her home in a rush. Neighbors assumed it was just another errand, but Josephine never returned. Days turned into weeks, and her absence left her family desperate and fearful. Her sister, Perry Sandika, could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Sleepless nights were haunted by visions of Josephine, restless dreams where she appeared trapped in dark waters, calling out for help. The images were vivid, so precise that Paris felt compelled to act. Guided by hope and dread in equal measure, Paris convinced the family to hire a local diver named Charles. The quarry they were about to search was infamous in whispers, a place long abandoned, its edges crumbling, its water stagnant and choked with years of discarded trash. The air was thick with the stench of rot and decay. On the morning of July 12, 2024, Charles waded into the dark, polluted waters. He pushed through layers of floating debris, each movement revealing a twisted mosaic of discarded waste. What began as a search for one missing woman, Josephine Owino, quickly turned into a nightmare. As Charles pulled a sack from the water, he froze. The weight was unnatural, and the rope binding it seemed deliberate, almost ritualistic. Carefully, Charles pried it open, and the sight of human remains made his stomach turn. For a moment, the world around him fell silent. Only the stench of decay and the murky water reminded him that this was real. But the horror did not stop there. As he steadied himself and scanned the dark waters, he noticed more sacks lurking beneath the surface. Driven by dread but unable to stop, Charles reached again and again into the quarry's depths. With every sack he pulled, the truth became clearer. This was no isolated killing. This was a graveyard. Dozens of lives discarded in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. The bodies were in various states of decomposition. Several were dismembered, with limbs severed from the torso. Some had injuries, while others showed signs of strangulation. Clothing was waterlogged and stained, hair matted, and soft tissue partially decomposed. In certain cases, only fragments of the body could be recovered due to advanced decomposition. Among the bodies recovered, Josephine Owino was later positively identified, bringing a mixture of closure and heartbreak. The total number of bodies later confirmed through forensic analysis would reach dozens. Word of the discovery spread almost immediately. Residents and local men, hired to assist with the search, arrived at the quarry within hours. By the time police and homicide detectives finally arrived, less than 100 meters from the nearest police post, a large angry crowd had gathered. Demonstration and clashes began almost immediately. Residents shouted anti-government slogans, questioning why authorities had not discovered the dam site sooner, and threw stones at the officers. To control the swelling crowd, police deployed tear gas and water cannons, sending plumes of acrid smoke over the quarry and scattering the protesters. The unrest did not end there. Demonstrations continued, fueled by outrage over police inaction and the perceived impunity of those responsible. The public's frustration was amplified by ongoing nationwide protest over proposed tax hikes and accusation of police brutality. Amid the chaos, authorities transferred all the officers from the nearby Quarry police station, citing the need for fair and unbiased investigations. Yet, the quarry had already been disturbed. The initial retrieval of bodies by volunteers had revealed the scale of the crime. Reporters jostled at the edge of the scene, their cameras capturing every grim detail, broadcasting it across Nairobi and beyond. Over the following days, the grim work continued. Charles and the volunteers returned each morning, their hands raw, muscles aching, and minds weighed down by what they were uncovering. Each sack retrieved added to the mounting horror. Authorities began formal procedures, documenting, bagging, and transporting the remains. DNA samples were collected to confirm identities, a painstaking process requiring patience and precision. Media crews remained on site, broadcasting live updates and interviewing officials, residents, and human rights advocates. Social media amplified every detail, fueling national outrage and demanding swift justice. Questions continued to swirl about how such horrors could occur so close to a police station and why initial response had been delayed. Demonstrations persisted beyond the first day. Residents and relatives of missing persons held vigils and protests at the quarry, while rallies in major intersections and outside government offices highlighted systematic failure in law enforcement. Human rights organizations and activists amplified the call of transparency, highlighting the systematic failures, femicide, and lack of accountability. The Mukuru Quarry had become a symbol of horror, injustice, and the urgent need for public oversight. As the days passed, each recovered body and confirmed DNA result deepened the nation's understanding of the scale of the crime. As investigators began piecing together the grim puzzle of the Mukuru Quarry, a clearer picture of the crimes emerged. The bodies recovered shared disturbing similarities. Young women from the nearby neighborhoods, each violently taken, each discarded with chilling regularity. The pattern suggested a single, organized perpetrator rather than isolated incidents. Mobile records were meticulously traced, cross-referencing calls and locations that connected one individual to several of the victims. Each investigative lead pointed towards a single individual responsible for the horror uncovered at the Mukuru Quarry. A man named Collins Jumaisi. On July 15, 2024, Collins Jumaisi Khalusha was apprehended at a bar in Kayole area of Nairobi, where he was reportedly watching the Euro 2024 football final. Investigators had traced him using the forensic analysis of a mobile money transaction made on one of the victim phones, providing a critical lead in the ongoing investigations. Following his arrest, Collins cooperated with authorities and reportedly led them to his rental house, located just 100 meters from the Quarry dam site, where the dismembered bodies had been discovered. A search of the property had covered several pieces of crucial evidence, including multiple mobile phones, a machete, clothing, and sacks similar to those used to rob the victims. Khalusha's proximity to the dam site, combined with the items found at his residence, immediately positioned him as the central figure in the investigation, setting the stage for further interrogation and confession. Collins Jumaisi Khalusha was born on February 3, 1991, in Shaviringa location, Vihiga County, in Kenya. His early life was marked by tragedy. His father passed away in 1995, leaving his mother, Margaret Rose Jumaisi, to raise him and his 3 siblings. After the father's death, the family relocated to Migori County, where they tried to build a new life. Despite being surrounded by family, Khalusha's later years would reveal a life increasingly separate from those who knew him. Little is publicly known about his education or early personal life. Local residents and extended family members have reported that they did not recognize him or recall much about his activities in Vihiga County. After moving to Nairobi, Khalusha kept a low profile, blending into the bustling urban environment. Before his arrest, Khalusha worked as a motorcycle taxi driver, a common occupation in Nairobi that allowed him to navigate the city while remaining largely anonymous. He lived near the Quarry dam site in the Kayole area, less than 100 meters from where the bodies were later discovered. Khalusha's personal life is equally sparse in public records. According to reports, he married Imelda Judith Kalenya in 2021, and police allege that she was his first victim in 2022. Beyond this, his relationships and daily life in Nairobi remained largely private, known mostly through police investigations after his arrest. Despite the ordinariness of his jobs and daily routines, Khalusha's life concealed a horrifying reality. The contrast between his mundane public life and the crimes he was accused of shocked both the local community and the nation, raising questions about how someone could live among neighbors without drawing suspicion. According to the DCI, Collins Jumaisi began his series of murders in 2022, allegedly targeting his wife, Imelda Judith Kalenya. He claimed that the killing was motivated by a personal grievance. He believed she had mismanaged a business he had established for her. According to the confession, he strangled her, dismembered her body, and disposed the remains at the nearby abandoned quarry. After this initial act, Khalusha reportedly continued to target women over the next 2 years. While the first killing stemmed from a personal grievance, his alleged confession suggested that the act unleashed a compulsion, leading him to repeat the behavior in a systematic way, targeting women in his vicinity. According to his alleged confession, he would reportedly identify women, often using charm or deceit, and convince them to meet him under false pretenses. Some victims were acquaintances, while others were strangers. At the time of his arrest, police claimed that he was actively attempting to lure another woman. Once the victim was isolated, Khalusha allegedly restrained and killed them. The confession stated that he sometimes strangled the women and, in certain instances, sexually assaulted them before killing. After killing, he would dismember the bodies, often using a machete or similar sharp instrument. He then placed the remains into nylon sacks, which he transported to the Quarry dam site, less than 100 meters from his residence. Khalusha reportedly took personal items from his victims, including mobile phones, handbags, and clothing. Some of these items were later recovered by police at his residence, including one belonging to Josephine Owino, whose disappearance had initially triggered the discovery of the graves. Over the course of his alleged confession, Khalusha claimed to have killed a total of 42 women. Almost immediately after his arrest and alleged confession, his lawyer, John Maina Ndegwa, publicly challenged the validity of the statements. Ndegwa claimed that Khalusha had been subjected to torture and coercion, including being strangled, in order to force a confession. He described the alleged admission of guilt as laughable and insisted that Khalusha was in urgent need of medical attention following the abuse. The lawyer's statement cast doubt on the official narrative provided by the DCI. While authorities presented the confession as a detailed account of Khalusha's crimes, the defense argued that any information obtained under duress could not be trusted. Media reports, including coverage by Al Jazeera, echoed these concerns, highlighting the claims of police misconduct and questioning the reliability of confessions obtained in custody. The timing of the defense challenge, immediately after the confession was made public, added a layer of controversy to an already high-profile case. It raised broader questions about the integrity of the investigation, the methods used by law enforcement, and the protection of suspects' rights in Kenya. The lawyer's claims did not just challenge the confession itself, they fueled public skepticism, particularly given to the delays in police response to the discovery of the bodies at the Quarry dam site and the proximity of the crime scene to a police station. For many Kenyans, the situation highlighted systematic issues in law enforcement and accountability. As the legal battle began to take shape, investigators continued to piece together the full scope of the crimes. Forensic teams examined the recovered evidence, mobile phone records were meticulously cross-referenced, and witness statements were corroborated with Khalusha's alleged admissions. Despite the lawyer's allegations, the authorities maintained that the investigation was proceeding under strict procedural standards. Following his arrest and publicized allegations of torture, Collins Jumaisi was placed in a high-security section of Nairobi's Gigiri police station. Authorities maintained that he was under strict supervision, with regular monitoring and interrogation sessions to clarify the details of the murders and confirm the evidence recovered from his residence. Despite the high-profile nature of the case, reports indicate that Khalusha was held alongside other detainees in a facility that, while considered secure, had vulnerabilities common to Kenyan detention centers. By August 2024, Khalusha had been in custody for just under a month. It was during this period of heightened scrutiny that a shocking breach occurred. On the morning of August 20th, 2024, at approximately 3 a.m., Khalusha, along with 12 Eritrean migrants, held for immigration violations, cut through the wire mesh roof of a basking bay, a covered courtyard used for fresh air at the station. They then scaled the perimeter wall and disappeared into the night. The escape was discovered around 5 a.m. during a routine check. Investigations indicated that the breakout was likely aided from within. Officers on duty were immediately scrutinized, as escaping from a high-security facility would have been nearly impossible without inside help. Khalusha's lawyer later echoed this concern, pointing out that he had been routinely shackled. The BCI launched a nationwide manhunt for Khalusha and the 12 Eritreans, offering a substantial cash reward for credible information leading to their capture. Officers implicated in facilitating the escape faced immediate consequences. 5, including the station OCS and the sub-county police commander, were suspended. In total, 8 officers were interdicted and arrested, and 5 were later formally charged with aiding the escape. News of the breakout sent shockwaves through Kenya. Public outrage intensified as citizens questioned police competence and accountability. A multi-agency investigation was launched, analyzing officers' phones, internal records, and CCTV footage to determine who exactly had facilitated the escape. As of today, Collins Khalusha remains at large, a fugitive from justice. His escape added a new, alarming dimension to the case, leaving authorities scrambling to regain control, and the nation grappling with renewed fear and outrage over one of Kenya's most notorious criminal investigations. As we conclude this case, our hearts go out to the victims and their families, whose lives were tragically cut short. The human cost of these crimes is unmeasurable, and their suffering continues to resonate across communities in Nairobi and beyond. As of late 2024, 6 of the victims had been positively identified through DNA testing, bringing some measure of clarity to grieving families. Roslyn Akoth Ogongo, a 24-year-old mother of 3, had moved from Asembo to Nairobi just 3 months before her death in search of casual work. She went missing on June 28, 2024, and was later identified by her brother at the mortuary through her clothing and hairstyle. Her torso had been severed at the waist. Josephine Owino disappeared in late June 2024. Her disappearance set in motion the search that led to the discovery of the mass grave. Her family had reported her missing, but police inaction initially stalled the investigation. Forensic analysis of a mobile money transaction on her phone later provided a crucial lead that helped authorities track down Collins Khalusha. Imelda Judith Kalenya, his wife, was reportedly his first victim in 2022 according to his alleged confession. Her identification came through the items found among the belongings of other victims at Khalusha's residence. Her body, however, was not among the first to be positively identified. By September 2024, DNA results confirmed the identity of 4 additional victims. Their names have not been widely publicized. Despite these identifications, many victims remain unknown, and several body parts recovered from the Quarry dam site have yet to be matched to a person. While the DCI initially reported that Khalusha confessed to killing 42 women, the exact number of victims remain uncertain, and the credibility of the figure has been widely questioned. Community members have expressed concern that the search of the quarry may have been ended prematurely, leaving open possibility that additional bodies may still be hidden at the site. The full scope of these crimes and the true number of victims may never be completely known, leaving a lasting shadow over Nairobi and the families of those lost. This case leaves us with more questions than answers. How could so many women go missing without anyone noticing for so long? What drives a person to commit such unspeakable acts? And even more troubling, how could this happen just meters from a police station? Then came the shocking twist. Collins Jumaisi Khalusha escaped police custody in August 2024, raising urgent questions about security, oversight, and whether justice can ever be fully served. Was he acting alone, or could there be others involved? Some even suggest that Khalusha might have been a scapegoat, a convenient target in a system already shrouded in corruption and fear. Was he truly acting alone, or is there more to this story that authorities have to uncover? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Khalusha was the sole perpetrator, or could he be covering for others? Was justice served, or does the system still have gaps that need to be addressed? How much trust can we place in law enforcement? And what does this case say about accountability in Kenya? Share your perspective in the comments below. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you found this case as haunting as I did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next story. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.